Do you remember the first time you tried to drive? We all sucked at it, accelerating way too fast, braking way too hard, not knowing how to coordinate the actions of our foot with the movements of our hands. Everyone was terrible. Then we practiced. We practiced every day and we got better. Pretty soon, they were letting us drive 50 or 60 or 70 miles per hour within a few feet of other cars on the freeway. Why? Because our driving had become smooth, predictable, and trustworthy. Cardano projects have also been practicing over the last many months, and now we get to enter that smooth phase. Ready?
This is your Aunt Lynn. Let's go.
Thanks to Aunt Lynn on the intro. Today we're going to discuss this being the 1 year anniversary of the Merry Hardfork, or at least as you listened yesterday, it was that 1 year anniversary. And there were also a couple of very interesting token mintings that happened on that very same day a year ago. We'll also talk about the SundaeSwap ISO token drip drops event that happened today and how it went a whole lot smoother than a lot of people might have expected. We'll also discuss a proposal to change liquid LQ tokenomics. Just a reminder, if these videos are bringing you value every day, I'd love it if you would consider delegating to the Army of Spies Stakepool, ticker AOS. 1 year ago today was the Merry Hardfork, which ushered in an era of new things in Cardano, including NFTs. While the Merry Hardfork may not have received as much fanfare as the Alonzo Hardfork that happened in September of last year, it was on the day of the Merry Hardfork that we saw the very first NFTs on Cardano, the Berry NFTs that were handed out by Alessandro, who you would later know as the driving force behind the Not Me wallet and SpaceBuds. Alejandro just handed these out to the delegators in his stake pool, but they would later go on to transact for truly astounding values in the markets, as you can see here. We've come a long way since that initial distribution of those simple but striking berry icons. Since then, we've minted an astounding number and spectrum of NFTs and NFT series and all kinds of native assets. And we've even got two big dexes. And today was the big distribution of the initial stake pool offering tokens of the SundaeSwap dex. And everybody expected this to be like a lot of the early token distributions in Cardano. Ever since the Alonzo Hardfork, we've had a number of projects that have had token drops of different types. And a lot of them have been crazy. But just like that period when you're learning how to drive, you kind of have to go through that thing when you're hitting the brake way too hard and whoever's teaching you how to drive is like lurching forward in their seat, super happy they have a seatbelt on. It's crazy. Nobody likes teaching anybody how to drive exactly for this reason. But you kind of have to go through that period when you don't quite have the pressure sensitivity right on the brake pedal and the gas. And the only way to figure out how to do that correctly is to do it. Cardano had to go through this phase. We had to have the token distributions where we didn't quite know how to do it correctly. We had to have the token drops where people all around the world are waking up at crazy hours so they can jump in and try to grab whatever token it is they're trying to get. Today's distribution didn't seem to go that way, at least for me. I jumped in at the appointed time when they had announced they were going to open up the token drop. And actually, I think they were, within a minute or two, they were within a couple minutes, the website opened up. They were sort of down. Drip Drops was down for maintenance for the period of a couple hours or something like that prior to opening up. And it actually opened up. It was supposed to open up like a half hour after the Epic rollover, and they opened up a couple minutes, I think, past that. But I pretty much immediately sent them my 3 ADA, and from the timestamp of me sending that ADA from my wallet to receiving all of my ISO SundaeSwap token rewards back in my wallet was only 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We'd all read the news that it might take up to 72 hours to get your tokens, Everybody needs to be patient. And I think everybody was expecting the kind of token drops we've seen in the past. But if you were there the moment it opened up, that was not the experience, because I got my tokens in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I was also super pleased. Drip Drops has this functionality that you can send the 3 ADA from a wallet that's different than the wallet that is actually entitled to the tokens, and the tokens will go to that wallet, that other wallet that is entitled to the token. So whatever wallet you sort of query in Drip Drops, that's the one that'll get the tokens. This is obviously great for anybody who's segregating their coins with different cost bases for tax purposes. So if you've got a deep bag of Cardano, some of which you might have paid, sub 10 cents or sub 3 cents even for, you don't necessarily want that to be the 3 ADA you send over to Drip Drops. So thank you, Drip Drops, for that functionality. But more importantly, thank you for figuring out how to do token drops this big on Cardano in a much less chaotic manner. Comment down below. Let me know. I know a bunch of you probably also claimed your tokens today. Let me know how long it took you to get your tokens. Obviously, not everybody tried to claim their tokens right when it opened up. Maybe it was faster for me than others. Maybe not. I don't know. Let me know how long it took you. Is anybody experiencing the multi-day wait times, or did people get their tokens a lot faster than they expected? Let me know in the comments down below. Based on my experience alone, I will say bravo, Drip Drops. That went exponentially better than I expected. It turns out the Berry NFTs were not the only Cardano native assets minted exactly 1 year ago today. The LQ tokens from Liquid were also minted exactly 1 year ago today. And there was also some news about those tokens just today. Liquid released this article today on Liquid DAO Interim Governance. They explain basically that governance is crucial to the Liquid ecosystem, and that when the V1 smart contracts are deployed, they'll have the Agora governance modules that will be deployed along with them. But in the meantime, they have to have some kind of a temporary governance structure in this interim period to do a few things. And very similar to Indigo, no surprise there given the affinity between these two projects. There's a Liquid DAO category that's been created in the Liquid Discord, and that's a place where you discuss active governance proposals and do temperature checks on potential future proposals. Then there is a Liquid Governance Discourse Forum, and that's where this interim voting is going on with these, what they're calling governance light proposals. Very similar to Indigo again. They say governance proposals for larger scale smart contract parameter changes must also go through the official Agora powered governance interface once it becomes available at launch. If we cruise on over here to the Liquid Governance forums, we can see that one proposal is already active. DC is proposing a change to the LQ tokenomics, really just an adjustment. In his proposal, DC says a community-led DeFi protocol must be represented by an empowered ecosystem of protocol users. The initial allocation of 70% total LQ supply to community incentives, suppliers, and borrowers is a large concentration of tokens to a single group of participants. This proposal is to adjust the LQ tokenomics with respect to incentivizing all of the protocol participants, both in the near term and further out into the future. In general, LQ rewards should accrue to users who contribute to the protocol's TVL and provide liquidity. This includes community incentives, LQ stakers in the Agora safety pool, the insurance pool, and LPs of LQ/ADA pools across dexes. So if we go ahead and we superimpose the old tokenomics chart from page 10 of the white paper that's available directly on the Liquid website, we can see it read 60% user distribution, 10% yield farming, 25% core team, and 5% DAO treasury. So we had 60% labeled as user distribution and 10% as yield farming. 5% of the DAO, 25% of the team. It's really awesome when I see that the team allocation hasn't moved at all. Call me skeptical, but whenever I see a project say they're changing tokenomics, I always expect for somehow the team allocation to be creeping up. But thank you to Liquid team. They always seem to do the right thing. The Liquid team, every time I turn around, they're doing the right thing. or something that's great for the community, like their distribution to their Discord users. So if we look at this new token allocation chart, we've got the same 5% going to the DAO treasury. We've got the same 25% going to the team. We've got the 1.5% going to the Discord airdrop. We've got 47.5% community incentives, and then we've got 17% LQ staking, which I love. You know why? Because I'm totally biased because I hold LQ tokens and I'm planning on possibly putting them in the Agora safety pool. So of course I want to get that 17%. So you can't trust my opinion here. Full disclosure, I'm completely biased. I will definitely fall into that 17% part of the chart, most likely. So you can't trust me here. But of course, I am totally in favor of this new 17% going to the LQ stakers. I'm assuming those would be the people in the Agora safety pool. And the 4% to the LQ ADA LP staking, I mean, it makes sense that a project would want for there to be liquidity for their token, for their governance token in big dexes like SundaeSwap. I mean, that part makes sense. And I'm probably highly self-interested in that 17% going to the LQ stakers, who I'm assuming are going to be people like me in the Agora safety pool. So let's scroll down here and see what the actual voting looks like. So just like with Indigo, we can just hit the show results button here, and we see 34 people have voted so far, with 79% voting for and 21% against. I can't see any problems with these new tokenomics, but I can only assume people who are as deeply enmeshed with the Liquid project as the group who would come and visit this governance forum are probably going to fall also in this part of the chart here, these LQ stakers. So when they see all of a sudden they're going to get some share of the LQ token allocation, highly predictable that they would be voting for this proposal. Now I do my civic duty to remind you that while stuff like this is very attractive to us, it often, and just like the milk staking, it often involves giving up custody of your tokens. Whenever you're giving up custody of your tokens, you might be putting your tokens into a lobster trap. Your tokens, like little lobsters on the ocean floor, they think they're going into a nice, warm, cozy cave. Pretty soon they realize, nope, there's no exit. It's a lobster trap. And then they're up on the boat, never to be seen again. You got to remember, there are accidental lobster traps. There are a lot of people out there who will try to exploit any kind of crypto bounty they can. And these types of pools are often, very attractive bounties to the people who would exploit them. They're going to try everything they can to exploit these types of pools that collect a lot of value in them. And even projects that have been audited by legit auditors have been exploited on the Ethereum side. It's not even really the fault of the people who created the projects. It's just that we can't stay ahead of the hackers all the time. The people who would exploit our projects, we can't stay ahead of them every single time. There are going to be exploits. They'll happen in Cardano too. So you got to be careful. Anytime you're giving up custody of your coins, you got to make sure in the back of your mind that the amount of coin you're giving up custody to is not an amount you would cry over if it turned out you were depositing that in a lobster trap. So am I going to deposit some coins into things like this pool described here for LQ staking and into things like milk staking? Probably. And in fact, I already have in the case of milk staking. But is it ever going to be an amount that would make me cry if any of these projects were exploited and all of my coins were lost? No, it is not. I hope you will not suffer any of those bad things we just talked about and that you're having a great week. I'll talk to you